Hi, it's been a long time between readings publicly online, so I decided to remedy that with an excerpt of my latest Ghost Town. We're picking up in chapter 4. We're in backwoods, Maine, in the middle of the state. Small town. Deb is a small town middle-aged policewoman. Al is her dad, the chief. And they've just found a little girl all on her own. She's around 5 years old. They had been out on a call looking for a couple of local missing boys, and instead they found this little girl. They have no idea where she came from or who she is. She's dirty. Her dress looks possibly blood-stained. And where we pick up here, they're driving her back to Deb's place in Al's squad car. We'll also meet Lizzie Mayweather, who's there, an eccentric old lady who lives across the street. Al drives straight past Deb's house, which is down the hill and towards the rear of his. Dad? I'm going to park outside mine. Don't want to draw attention. Okay. She's not sure why Al is being so jumpy, but asking him might further upset the kid, so Deb lets it be. As soon as they exit the car, Lizzie Mayweather calls across in her willowy, sing-song voice. Our coyotes have gone quiet for some nights now. The gibbous moon waned and went. I haven't heard a single howl. Deb waves her free hand and then makes to ignore her. Her other hand is clutching the little girl's. To her alarm, Al says, "One moment," and starts walking toward Lizzie. Dad, Deb hisses in a whisper. Haven't we had enough crazy for one day? Wait here. Al doubles back, takes the girl by the hand and says, why don't we go meet our neighbor? They stroll across the narrow triangle tip of cemetery that divides their properties. Good evening, Elizabeth. It's just beginning to grow dark. Good evening, Alexander. Have you met this young lady? I have now. Hello, young lady. I'm Elizabeth Mayweather. Most call me Lizzie. The girl utters a tiny hello. Al turns his attention back to Lizzie. Well? Have you seen my Cooper's hawks? How's that? You really should stop in sometime, when you have a moment. I've a fawn now, too. My hatchlings. Their parents abandoned the nest. 3 eggs. Leonard brought them to me. He found the female near death on the side of the road. Lead poisoning, we reckon. She didn't make it through the night, and the male probably found somewhere quiet to pass on. Anyway, the nest is abandoned, she states pointedly, and the young must be cared for in captivity, for now. For now, or forever. Sometimes they become tame. Al looks dazed. All right. Lizzie peers across at Deb, who's fidgeting with the daisies poking through Al's front fence impatiently, waiting for Al and the little girl to reappear. I'm sure you know what you're doing. Al says nothing. You'll figure it out. Good night, Alexander. Good night, little dear. Good night. They wander away. Lizzie calls, I'm right here. All right, Al calls back. Deb watches their approach, and once they're in earshot, says, what was all that about? Al is still rattled. Just some hawks, some new hawks. Hatchlings. They walk down the hill, little girl between them, a hand in each of theirs. She walks with quick, stiff, determined steps, diligently keeping up, politely compliant, looking every bit like an old porcelain doll, dusty, serious, but precious, once perfect. All 3 of them sit at the kitchen table, eating baked beans on toast. The girl is thirsty and drinks an entire glass of water in seconds. Her eyes turn and return to Deb's cat, a robust orange tabby on the windowsill above the sink. He stares at the child, unblinking. Deb notices their intense mutual contemplation and says, "That's Floyd. What are you doing up there, buddy?" He never gets up there. He has a favorite armchair, spot on the couch, spot on the bed, window seat. The girl hardly speaks, except to say yes, no, please, and thank you. Her manners seem ingrained, and her accent a touch English. Scottish? Deb can't put her finger on it. She uses a knife and fork properly. Doesn't make a mess of her plate like most kids do, nor does she grow fidgety and restless after a few minutes at the table. It's clear she's been through something, unclear what that might be. She is mute on her parents, her name, age, her origins, and recent events. Any events at all, apart from her cryptic and earnest allusion to the man Al considers the eye of the storm. Deb asks her what she was doing in the dog kennel, and she replies, "It's not fit." "It's what?" Al says she means the weather. It's blowing outside, wind lashing rain against the windows. Floyd jumps down from the windowsill and strolls up to the girl. She leans back in her chair and he jumps straight onto her lap. He looks up and she looks down. They sniff noses like two cats happy to make each other's acquaintance. She smiles for the first time. "Wow," says Deb. "He likes you." She doesn't say he usually dislikes children. And when her niece visits, he spends nearly the whole time in hiding. This kid seems to know her way around a cat, the subtle yet sophisticated dance of feline etiquette. "Do you have a cat?" She shakes her head and says with quiet assurance, "I know cats." She looks into his eyes and adds, "He wants foddering." "He what?" Deb screws her face up. "Food," says Al. Floyd purrs, and Al tells him he's a nice cat.